Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and in this video we're talking about Ritual. So Ritual is a pretty neat mechanic after the introduction of Scarabs. The Ritual Scarabs, notably you have the Scarab that gives you more tribute for unique slaying, the one that gives you free rerolls for the first times and extra rerolls, and then the one that gives you more favor, which is more items shown per page. So in this, you could use two of these, but I prefer to use one and then one of these and two of those. This feels the best to me. If you don't have these, or if you have blood-filled vessels, this is where I would put the blood-filled vessel, because it kind of serves the same purpose of just pumping up your amount of tribute. And for the Atlas tree, it's in the description, but basically you're picking up the nodes that guarantee Ritual to spawn, give you some reduced costs, give you some extra rerolls, make it so there's a chance when you complete the final Ritual to get a blood-filled vessel for free, and some reduced tribute cost. And we also have the guaranteed 4. The ones I don't get are the random cost fluctuation between high and low, and then the one where it says you can't reroll, because the whole reason we're doing this is to reroll large amounts of pages. Why am I doing Ritual, and why does it feel okay? So it's basically based off the reward types Ritual. Ritual itself is fine if you're in League. It offers a decent amount of corpses and embers because it's a large amount of mob introduction for Necropolis mechanics, but the real reason is because it offers high quantity of annoying niche things to get. Case in point for a large chunk of these things is percent life, percent ES magic jewels for Adorned, fracture jewels again for Adorned, synthesized item. It's the mechanic that adds the most synth items to the game. So looking for power charge rings, percent scaling rings, percent belts, power charge, or charge shields, that sort of stuff. If you like omens are quite common off this mechanic. Convenient part is that your loot filter applies to it. I still want to roll maps to do this, so I just have like either 80 plus quant rare maps. I don't put anything on the map device, and I'm going to put in one of these, two of these, and one of those. If you want, you could put in two of these, but I oftentimes feel like it's not really worth it, so I don't bother. I'm also just doing Elder Shelters because there's no reason not to, for additional quantity and, duplicate rewards. We're just going to clear the map like normal, and then you hit the rituals when you get them. If you can kill a boss, fantastic, beforehand. Maybe there's a chance you'll get the boss introduced into the ritual. That's where the unique mob type comes in for the one Scarab. Additionally, if you have things like Rogue Exiles, those are pretty decent. But overall, just for a basic map with no additional effort put forth in clearing that doesn't have a blood vessel, you're going to be netting somewhere around, we'll say 7,000 to 10,000 for favor, which is typically more than enough to purchase, all the little common things, and then it gives you room to purchase one big thing. There's like no scenario where you're not going to be able to purchase a big ticket item if you see one. For me, it's like the biggest ticket item would have to be like Headhunter, Mageblood Mirror, like something of that quality, because they'll have very expensive things that won't be particularly important to me. Like one Divine, I'd rather have an extra chance at rolling an Adorned Jewel for a Divine, But if you're in trade, I get it. So here we go. So this is what the window looks like. It's bigger than normal. Again, you can see where the filter applies. If it doesn't apply, it's pretty terrible. Nothing on the first page of note. Let's go to the second page. We have 3 synth items. See? Synth items. Item drops on Death, Animate Guardian, KS Res, and Fizz damage. Not interested in any of that. I also have veiled items showing here and a couple other things, but none of that's good for me. Another free reroll. There's some Scarabs. Another synth item. Crit multi wand. Looks like mostly junk. Next page. Okay, mostly junk again. There's our first ritual-specific bases. You'll see those quite commonly. We still get more rerolls. There's a 6-link, a Scarab there. I think I'll probably purchase this just because it's like, we're getting down to the last page here. And we got another Synth Shield. Dex, don't want that. Looks like we hit 1 Fracture Jewel, burning damage, don't want that. And now we're out of rerolls. We didn't really see anything we wanted, so this was like the unironically worst case scenario. So I'll just purchase some currency, then we'll just move on to the next map. Now, the cost of running this map, we'll just say the map costs 1 or 2 chaos, and these Scarabs are, that's 1C, that's 1, those are 1C each, and that's like 4C, so maybe in total 10 chaos. Again, if you want, you could do things like add Anarchy to the map, so maybe some of those unique mobs get added to the ritual, in which case we get more favor for them. Typically that favor injection really only comes from the boss, so I'm not really too worried about that. But yeah, this is a pretty standardized scenario. So we're gonna pretty much cut now to end of the map when we're looking at the ritual, And we're gonna do this like, I don't know, be like, how many maps do I have here? 8 maps. We'll do this 9 more times, including this map, and we'll see 9 more page displays of Ritual, and give you an idea of what to expect, because the main draw of this is it's not really much. You know, you could do multi boss maps to have more bosses. Things like Arena, I guess, are okay. I don't hate. There's none of the good multi-boss maps on the Atlas at the moment, in my opinion. Like Strand is a double. That's probably it. Like normally you do things like City Square is a better one historically, but yeah, there's not great maps at the moment. I think for multi-boss ones that are like super in love with. Bramble Valley, I guess. I don't know who the fuck's doing Bramble Valley. There we got the twinned boss. So these will give a lot more favor than normal. Why the favor just like jumped from probably what would have been like 6,000 to I guess close to 8,000-9,000. Yeah, so I'm doing this just so I could try to get more Adorned jewels, really, but also like don't want to sit there and craft Adorned jewels. It's pretty chill, I guess. 12,000 because we hit the boss on 2 different rituals, so you can see the better results there. Synth items, I am good. We got a jewel, so here's one of the max ES ones we were talking about. These you're gonna love to see these if you're trying to get Adorned stuff going on. There's a Divine. They always cost between 6,000 and 8,000, give or take. I'll defer it. Deferring it makes it pop up again later, and also allocates a chunk of its cost, so it'll be cheaper next time you see it. There's our Divine again. We have a synthesized jewel. This one has minion cast speed. Don't need it, but cool to see. There's a percent life jewel. Fantastic. So you can see influenced items. For example, this Redeemer heavy belt. Only problem is the level of the ritual is tied to the level of the zone. So unless you're doing rituals in T17s, which you can do, and it's totally fine, you're just not going to get the super high eye level stuff you'd like to see. So this is going to be eye level 83. If this is an Archdemon crown at 83, it's kind of a little bit poopy compared to the 85 one. So if you're going to hunt the bases specifically, then I would definitely do this in 17s. However, if you don't care about that, you're looking for things like, you know, this is like the bread and butter for me right here. To me, that's more important, so I'm going to purchase that sort of stuff over, you know, looking for a higher eye level Archdemon crown. But there's probably some money to be made here. Not sure if these things cost anything. I could check real quick. All right, so it looks like an Archdemon crown that is eye level 85. I guess that there's only 2. What? All right. Seems a bit crazy. I guess they're just... What about a Blizzard crown? It's kind of the same odds. Just getting these in 17s. Oh, much cheaper. But oh, these are shit fractured. These are like ruined ones. I don't know how much a non-ruined one costs. Either way, there's definitely some money to be made in the land of ritual bases in 17s, I guess. Bleeding, projectile val. Wah. Life and bleeding seems kind of shit. Of course it hits non-damaging elements. Alright, try and get a percent life applicable suffix corrupting blood jewel for this build, and it's fucking tearing me apart, Lisa. So we had an Exile in here. I think it was the summoner one, but that adds some additional value because it's a unique mob. But yeah, I don't really think it's worth like adding Anarchy on. Personally, I don't see, with all the stuff on Ritual and all the cost reductions with the Scarabs, I think you're pretty good just running it vanilla. Like having if you get to 10,000 Ritual monies, that's like kind of more than enough really to purchase anything you're really going to want, because you're just going to defer it. And you're going to get the deferral cost reduced. Like, you have the stuff on Tree that says the deferral cost is reduced substantially, and it just doesn't really seem to be much of a problem. I think in the olden days, like, I feel like I had a bigger issue with that sort of thing, but because of the Scarabs, because of the Atlas Tree, 10,000 favors, like, you know, more than enough to purchase everything you'd want, and then on the last page, just purchase whatever's left. To me, it's been not an issue at all. Like, you can see here I'm at 8,800 favor, and I just missed an Exile, and I'm gonna be at, you know, whatever, 12,000. I'm done. That'll be like a mirror. I think is like 18 or 20,000. So when you defer it, you just have to have like 2,000 or 3,000. If you got lucky enough to find a mirror, it wouldn't even have an issue with that, you know. So I've purchased a Headhunter from Ritual twice, and I think it was 15,000 and 17,000, give or take. So it's like, it's expensive, but like the deferral cost is like 1/20th of that, basically, after rates and such. So it's really not an issue. Synth items, fractured items, all attributes, and burning damage. Wow. You say this just shows this is a not a hybrid modifier. Those are two separate modifiers, right? So you can get multiple synthesized items, but they have different lines, so it's definitely two different rules. I've never seen a double synth item like that. Maybe I have. I don't recall it at the very least. Yeah, so here's one of the omens I was talking about, the white socket one. I don't, particularly give a shit about omens. It's something. I'll defer it. I'm not mad at it. Ancient orbs too. You don't want to go defer crazy because you'll have this start happening. They'll start like popping up and occupying slots. Another hybrid synth wand. Interesting. Okay, this is our second to last one. Percent yes. A lot of double corrupts. You get a lot of double corrupt rings, especially. You could mythic orb stuff. I've done it before, not successfully, but I had one that had bleed and attack speed on a diamond. And I was like, ooh, that could be cool. And I mythic orbed it. It destroyed. But, it could have been cool, hypothetically. Synth ring. Percent life. It's like a vermilion ring, but strictly worse. Another cool thing you get actually from rituals is rogue markers. I can't tell you how little I want to run regular contracts in general, right? So to get rogue markers from not heist is pretty sexy. All right, some decent ones here. Reduce poison duration. Lightning pen, that's a shitter. I have nothing. All right, cool. Nice little vivid. Accept that. Very good. Synth boot with minus mana cost. It's kind of cool. So here's one of the specialty rituals. You'll know it's a special ritual because, well, it does different stuff, but also visually, you can see the candles on the top of the portal looks different. This one is the one that gives you uniques. So you can reroll the specialty rituals. However, they're always going to reroll into another specialty ritual, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I guess it depends on your perspective, right? So there's three of them. There's the unique one, there's the divination card one, there's the currency one. So if you reroll this one being the unique one, it's going to either reroll into the same unique thing, like more uniques, or divination cards or currency, and like any amount of times in a randomized kind of way, which is fine, I guess, if you're looking for that sort of stuff. But for what we're looking for, i.e. these like adorned jewels and synthesized items, it's just kind of a bummer because you're just going to get not that. Not to say you can't get something good off the div card or the jewelry or the currency, but like you're just it's not the bread and butter, It's not really what you're looking for here. We just finished our special ritual. You can see there's a bunch of uniques here, none of which I need. Technically, I actually need name taker. I'm just gonna grab this because I forgot to put one in my unique stash. But see, we re-rolled and we hit div cards, right? So not something I guess, well, that one's probably pretty good for trade, especially Divine Beauty. We could set that aside. Interesting part. So I defer that, right? And if I reroll into a different tab, but it's still a specialty thing, I can purchase it if I wanted to. I don't want to. I'm going to defer it again. I'm going to reroll it because I still got 3 free rerolls, but I'll just keep deferring it. I'll keep lowering its cost. And anything of note here, 4th is pretty good. A perfect gold worms. Look at that. That's kind of spicy. We get one more reroll, but our reroll cost is probably going to be, actually, when we defer it, it should be okay, because that's going to be cheaper now. And then there's a divine, and this costs 28.60. So we have perfect amount to purchase this, and that's 5/12 of 7 divines, 11 tribute left. Like, I don't have enough to, defer that, but like you see divines like you've seen in this video. You see them enough that it's one divine, nothing to get your panties in a twist over. But the divine beauty card's pretty good. I have currently 11 out of 12, so this is gonna definitely complete that set. Also, I just forgot to grab a name taker, so there's that in the tab now. I want to talk about using oh god damn it, another specialty one. I don't want these. I prefer regular. Yeah, I want to talk about using a ritual vessel to make a bloodstained one, but we haven't had a situation occur where you'd want to do that. These are the ritual vessels. You get these by buying the ritual splinters, and you also get the blood-filled one just as a drop potentially, but you use these on an altar, I typically only use it on an altar if it's an altar occupied by a boss. You'll know it's occupied by a boss because, well, a boss is popping up in it. If you get one of these quality of socketed dex strength or int gems on a two-hand, you could make them 6-socket and level multiple enhancers at once and level them faster than normal in your weapon swap. Little inside baseball. There's a Blizzard Crown, always cool to see. Buy up these, and shouldn't really re-roll that low, but I did anyway because I don't know. Alright, so here is a ritual with the boss on it. Okay, so when we hit this, well, we're going to get the boss to pop up. It should be, at least. This is a good example of a place to use. Oh, there it is. There's the boss. So now we're going to use our blood vessel on this, and when we capture it, it'll say it contains the boss, right? So there's one of our ritual vessels. Boom. And it says Arachnoxia is in the area. That's going to make it just a little bit more juicy for the next map. If you use a ritual vessel like this on a map, you can't then use more ritual vessels in that map to perpetuate the chain. Oh, so we got a blood-filled vessel to drop as a proc. I'm going to die. I'm not going to die. So that's the first time we hit the 15% chance to proc. It gave us a normal one. So it says there's 27 monsters. The one we did previously is 57 monsters, so it's just way more monsters, but also didn't have a boss spawn, so, you know, not as good, but still pretty cool. Over the next map, we're going to take out the recognition, and we're going to put in the blood-filled vessel. This will guarantee a ritual. That was already guaranteed, but, you know. And, yeah, there's a common, I don't say it's a fact, but I'm going to put it as a theory, that the higher tribute count you get, the higher favor in a ritual, the higher top end of potential rewards you could possibly receive, which just means on average you'll get higher end stuff more likely. I'm not sure if it's been proven true, and even if it has, at any point in time, every single patch for ritual is adjusted, i.e. this previous patch in the form of Scarabs. We have no idea what else gets changed, and we have no idea if that same type of thing rings true. Unfortunately, so much stuff has changed each patch in Path of Exile that we don't know about. There's simply, you'd have to retest everything every single league. For example, I just did a video about Labyrinth Jewels, and if they even mention the Labyrinth rewards in the next patch notes, my video is potentially totally irrelevant, right? And all the stats I found during that video, and then you'd have to redo the same experiment, same test over again, to get an accurate study. Otherwise, you're just like kind of talking out your ass. So, as far as we knew last time, what I just said was true, but it could be total bullshit because things were changed. So that's Path of Exile. Every 3 to 4 months, all information becomes potentially irrelevant until tested. No different for Ritual. So yeah, so just to showcase, this was a map with a boss ritual vessel. We got to 10.4. which puts us actually under what we had last time when we just had the recognitions on. So the blood-filled vessels give you improved favor, but the rate in which they give it to you is honestly just less on average if you just hit a unique enemy in a ritual off of recognition. It's like basically the same fucking thing. So that's why I don't really typically deal with blood-filled vessels, because recognition for 1 chaos does a similar job. And it stacks to 20 in the map device, so you don't gotta faff around with it, you know, in the same way. Purity of Fire has increased mana efficacy implicit. I've never seen that one before. That is a goofy one. So there's the Omen of Connections. Again, don't be confused if you have your tribute kind of low because you've been rerolling or you're in the back end. They're gonna be grayed out in the exact same way as a filtered item. You won't be able to tell the difference. So just always double check the top lefts because you never know when you're going to get a situation like this, which is something like, I'll definitely defer a free 6 link, right, for the future. So, yeah, I don't want to, you know, miss that potentially. But you would have missed that because your filter makes it look like it was bad. Let's do a couple more just for fun. I could be here doing this shit all day. I just, it's fun to use ritual, like, menus, you know, and to, like, just go through a little bodega shop of fun nuggets of items, you know. I really enjoy Ritual with Scarabs. Ritual without Scarabs. Stinky poopy. But yeah, this just goes to show how a mechanic like Ritual can feel so good and fun with the appropriate scarabs that I will admit are quite common, so it's not even as if they're that rare. I don't think you could sustain without breaking the pattern of what you're doing. Like, you probably have to do multiple different sets of atlases and then bounce around. But if you have 20, 40 rituals sets of scarabs, meaning like a full set of each, my god, Ritual is very enjoyable and can lead some nice results in the way of adorned jewels and synthesized items. So would recommend, but without scarabs, would not recommend. Okay, let's see what we get. Hey, there is our free 6th link waiting for us. We're gonna keep deferring it down because I don't want to pay full price for that poopy butt. Ooh, gain 6% of Fire's Chaos. It's a pretty neat little synth implicit. There's our free 6th link. Hey, synth map. Don't need those, but pretty cool. Percent life, love to see it. Yes, love to see it. Spell damage and mind throwing speed. That's a pretty cool crimson, not gonna lie. I think we'll take that one. Ooh, my synth one hit damage and a reservation. I'm kind of want to Val it to see if it eats an implicit. It didn't. That's still definitely a keeper, though. That's a pretty sick one. Well, there you have it. I ran a big chunk of Ritual Scarabs here. I don't have a ton left. I have enough to do another 20 and then some. Unfortunately, you're going to be bottlenecked by abundance ones, which are the most desirable. I wouldn't bother running this without abundance, and running 2 abundances does double the page, you know, and then some, but honestly, I prefer to thin the pack with double selectiveness, the 1 recognition, and the 1 abundance, to get yourselves the best spread and to make it last as long as possible. Definitely, recognition is the least important. This could be, again, replaced with any ritual vessel, or I guess another scarab if you had like another scarab in mind. Something even like magic pact size. Overall, ritual feels pretty good when using the scarabs. Without the scarabs, would not recommend. With the scarabs, it's a pretty great time. A nice little spread of, you know, things you get. Like we saw the white socket, we saw the 6th link, we saw the divine cards, we saw divine, we saw some ritual bases. We saw some uniques, we saw a bunch of stuff, and that was in about 10 or 15 maps, so nice even spread of goodies. If you're early in League, you could drop half the nodes and then just run Immutable Dogma for a non-reroll 1 larger thing. I don't think it's particularly good. I just probably wouldn't recommend running a Ritual until you had Scarabs in Solo Self-Found. And in trade, I don't know how much they cost early League, but at the cost of 5C a map in Scarabs, would recommend. You'll definitely get your money back, and then some. Getting a phone call, strange, and yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm Matt Lighty. This has been some ritual fun time, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye-bye.